Hey guys, so I'm here at the NAWCQ. Honestly, coming in, I had zero expectations to do well. I played like maybe 1.5 Yu-Gi-Oh events in the last 3 months, but you know what? I ended up starting 6-2, and then final round, unfortunately, I got paired with my good friend I traveled with, which was a Despian tragedy, obviously. So I lost the battle. It was a branded mirror. I did branded lost the match. But anyways, enough branded puns before you get Borload furious with me. Let's just get right into the profile. I know I brought it recently, but I can at least now actually talk about how it actually went post-info at the NAWCQ. 3 Albas, nothing spectacular there. Aluber, I'll talk about a little bit about siding patterns later. The double Clem definitely comes up a lot. Just like having Granule bring this out, even let's say, especially if you got Nibiru when you already had Clem on board. Tragedy, I use this graveyard effect quite a bit as well in terms of like just not, or rather like not using its search effect, but rather banishing it to set a branded spell trap. I use it to like even set like branded loss in weird situations. Double Cartesia, having this access, especially when you play double Granule now, it really comes up a lot. And also using this to go into Borload Furious came up a lot for me. I played like 3 stuns in a row at some point, and Borload Furious honestly was like the MVP and just kept popping things. I always like playing things in 2s, and so Shroud Dragon's fine. Again, speaking of Borload Furious, it's another dragon target you can use. Kit's good, just kind of replenish stuff. I like to play double Merc, but I'm not playing Allure, which was really good because at this event I got Droll as a branded player, which doesn't happen often, but you know, they were playing main decking Droll, so I'm glad I didn't play Allure, but I'll talk about that. Best shows, I talked about this. So overall, quite good. Having Magma obviously is pretty sacky, but I really like having all 3 really comes up. And then Gimmick Puppet, you know, honestly, 5 rounds in, I never even got to Gimmick Lock anyone. I was just kind of like just beat down OTKing people, but obviously very strong. So even when you don't have much practice like I do, if you can lock people, you're probably winning a lot. Spells, Branded Fusion. Obviously, nothing worth saying there. Branded opening. I had a pretty cool game where basically I think I got drolled. So what I had to do was I set this off of Albion Dragon, and then I had a Serenir in hand. I also had triple thrust into Fusion Dupe, except obviously at that time I didn't have Branded Fusion access. So I just like on his turn I just used this, pitched the Serenir, dumped the Branded Fusion, and then the Fusion Dupe was live again. So this was against Fiend and Smith Snake Eye, and I was able to just take it from there, even under skill drain. Nothing much to say here. This really comes up clutch, especially as I said, Droll has been quite dominant in NAWCQ so far. So we have also actually I'll talk about it a little bit later in terms of skill drain. We have 3 fusion deployment, nothing much there. This is what I was playing. I was playing 3 when I did the profile a few days ago. I cut it to a 48 list and just 2 Nadirs, especially because I'm not playing like the whole Nadir or Maximus package. This was really clutch because of Droll. Just kind of like I would like start with this instead of like, let's say, Lobellion, and it just ended up being like the difference maker, for example. Just getting that card into extras like really helps.
So would you have played 3 looking back at how it was?
Realistically, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I think that's totally fine too, as long as it's just really good playing through like Ash and everything. So it didn't come up as much, but I mean, yeah, I think if you wanted to play 3, that's totally fair too. I wanted to do like 2 Nadir, 2 Allure, but ironically that would play into Droll even more than just like 3 Allure or 3 Nadir. So choose one of the other, I would say. Gold Sark, Foolish, and then this is obviously Grant given in Branded. I'm also playing the one evening main, which really did come up. I'm glad I did it. The talent, honestly, I'm not really a big fan in Branded with that. Call by, Drop It. I had thought about playing Imperm, and the reason was, even though Drop It is probably better, I just felt because I'm playing multiple fusion dupes now with Thrust, you know, having an Imperm means you have another thing to set. But honestly, realistically, I think Drop It was still better, and it definitely came up. This didn't actually happen too much in terms of gameplay, but I do know just in theory, Imperm is so strong against this deck. If you don't open fusion deployment like Cartesia access, especially when there's Imperm, Veiler, and Ghost Mourner, and just this really helps. As I said, double fusion duplication. One thing I did mention or wanted to mention earlier was that I was under skill drain in a lot of situations. Some of the things you can do is, so you can do this, go into Guardian Chimera, use the Guardian Chimera effect, and then you chain fusion dupe, send the Albus and then the Chimera on the field to go into a Mirror Jade. So now your Chimera resolves, pops, draws, and now you have like a live Mirror Jade. So I think that was really cool. And then the one evenly, it's funny, I was playing against a stun player, I lost that roll, and I just happened to draw this one of in game 1. like obliterated it. Like he had like 5-set 1 field spell, like just cooked. Oh my god. And then Retribution. Oh, actually, this also another thing I want to mention is sometimes you want to keep this in, or rather, it's probably most likely in grave. And when the droplet situation happens on like Sanctifier, for example, like at least you have like a trap to do something and then chain, because they're probably not pitching a trap in most cases. So that's something to worthwhile. Extra deck, I don't think this one changed. Double Albion, Rebellion, Mirror Jade, Titaniclots, Sanctifier, Rinbrum, Double Granule. It does definitely come up. Not necessarily just because of the gimmick lock. Honestly, in terms of gimmick lock, you can get away with just one all the time. It's just the fact that you can always trigger Cartesia one more time at the very least with whatever, because you're pretty much playing always light and dark, and just triggering loss. Like in the grind game, it's crazy. And then also, the reason second one is nice, sometimes when you brick and you have high spirits and you have Climber Cartesia in hand, at least you can like send this away, you still have one more left, and you add something, and that's how you start. And that's exactly what happened against Fiend Smith Snake Eye. This one was really clutch. And not just for Nadir Servant, and I actually summoned it as well. Another thing is similar to what I said about Guardian Chimera with like Skill Drain, because if a card leaves the extra deck, this can also negate a card. So like for example, you can also do the same thing, you know, except with Fusion Dupe and like send this away, Mirror Jade, and then, you know, whatever. Yeah, Bola of Furious, this came up clutch, popping cards. Chimera, this one doesn't come up as much now because of I don't play Super Poly anymore. Like technically it's a last thing with like Chimera, or rather Branded Red, but yeah. And finally, onto the side, you have Drool.
How was that?
It was good, yeah. Except the problem with my side deck now, I realized, was it's not strong against Branded. So I had to like put this in, even though for the most part it's not that good against Branded. Sometimes it can be, but it just did absolutely nothing in my final round. I decided to play this instead of Nib now, thanks to, actually I'm not going to reveal it because he's still playing. But yeah, it didn't come up for me, but I know from my friend who's playing it, it was really, really clutch for him. You do have to side out at least 1 Allure, maybe even 2. And then like your other like second clam, they can't get rid of a lot of the normal summons. That's where Nadir Servant also I find helps when you have to also have this, because Nadir Servant at least helps you set up something for the future turn, and Sphere Mode is pretty strong. Not many decks can play this, so I'm glad that we can, even though we have become more normal summon reliant than maybe like a couple of years ago when Branded first came out. Dark Ruler, I only ever sided 1 in, so I didn't need a second one. I felt like you have Droplet. Fiendsmith can still play around it though, but I just felt, you know what, let's just play it safe. Duster and Lightning Storm, I would say both of them came up. Cosmic Still, I did play against Fiendsmith Labyrinth. That was pretty crazy. That's it was a strong deck, and I'm just glad. Again, I played like 2-3 stuns in a row as well. So Cosmic very strong, especially when I was getting Synchro Zoned and Skill Drain. I changed the Magic Deflector for a D Barrier just because of obviously Tempai. But then I realized, you know, like Fiendsmith Snake Eye, like calling Fusion on them is actually pretty not bad, honestly. And then double evenly. Just to round out second, third, this is like honestly probably one of my favorite cards in the game ever. So I really liked it. It came up a lot, and especially that main deck evenly, it came up multiple times because we're playing 3 thrusts anyways.
Any last comments on the experience?
Yeah, overall, honestly, I came here just to have a lot of fun, and I did. You know, had to spend great time with friends like Drew. Thanks for recording, and yeah, it's, you know, great food, great event. If you're ever had the opportunity to go to like a WCQ, I highly recommend it. You're gonna have a great time. But anyways, thanks to all of you for watching, and take care.